20 million, or if you are joining in from India, 2 crore people are expected to be freelancers as we speak today. So the number, I will repeat, 20 million or 2 crore people in India are estimated to be freelancing today. This is a huge topic. Could be probably one of the most, I would say, recruited kind of jobs. Of course, there are many categories. People are, graphic designers, income tax assistants, or other finance roles, or artists, or many other professions. But all put together, 2 crore Indians are already freelancing their time. Out of this, 70% are actually exclusively freelancing their time. 70%, right? So that is about 1.5 crore people. And the remaining people are also doing around 30 hours or sometimes less than that. So this is a huge topic. We don't realize that, so many people around us, sometimes, people we really know very well, are actually doing a lot of freelancing. So what I wanted to do, like always, when I figure out that the subject is important for today's time and it will help us manage better, I try and invite a guest who knows much more than I know about it. And freelancing is an area I have zero idea about it. But over the years, I've developed some skill in talking a little about things I don't know. But beyond a point, you need an expert. So today is that day that I have called an expert as a guest on this show to share with us what is freelancing, why is it important, what can be done, how it can be done, and the likes. And we will, of course, quiz her with our question. But before that, my name is Anshuman Tiwari, and if you don't know this, this is your show, Manage Better, where we bring consultants, coaches, authors, and people who've achieved something through sheer hard work in a specific space and are willing and able to learn or teach their lessons that they have learned. And today is one such topic. This is episode number 91, which means, of course, I was my own guest for a couple of shows. So about 89 guests have been on the show. And quick check. Yes. So the feeds are working and the guest feed is also working. So let me bring in Saheli, who's our guest today. Saheli ji, namaste. And welcome to the
Namaste.
show.
Good morning.
Morning, morning, morning. Fantastic to firstly see all the books around you. So glad to see people, and a lot of younger people or people tell me that younger people don't read, and I can now show them that okay, look at this, yeah, they do read. So for my audience, those who may not know Saheli, which is highly unlikely because she is the queen of YouTube, LinkedIn, freelancing, and recently minted top voice. So congratulations, Saheli.
Thanks.
And the a quick word about her. So I would strongly recommend that I will give a very brief introduction, but don't go by that. Check her out on YouTube and LinkedIn and see what kind of work she's done at a very young age. She is the founder of AmbiFem agency, which is dedicated towards growing brands organically with the help of social media. So this is the age of careers which are built directly off social media. So my generation, maybe your generation after me, use social media much later in their lives and careers. But today's youngsters and generation are able to bring or build directly off social media. So the Instagram generation, the YouTube, the LinkedIn generation, which is a delight to know because this is how the world goes forward. So more about Saheli. Saheli is, of course, a marketing expert for coaches, consultants, and service-based businesses, and specializes in working with people who are looking to create and grow their brand online using, I would say, creative marketing uh, methods, including ads and organic stuff, and how to grow your. Most of it I don't know, but I do want to know. um, do check her stuff on YouTube and Instagram, and even LinkedIn. Like I said, multiple things. She can help launch brands online, courses. If you are a coach or a consultant, that can be promoted, and all this is through her agency, MB Fem, and including email list generation and the likes. And yeah, so That's pretty much it. A lot of services you can get through this kind of service. Social media management, of course, strategy, Instagram, Facebook, and all that. And I recently realized, Saheli, you are marketing head of 1% Club as well.
I worked at 1% for 1 year before it became like a company. Actually, I was there as a founding team member, and when the product like was built, there was no one else in the team except me. And now today, it's a very major project. With, they raised funding and everything. I worked there for a year until May, June last year.
Cool. So once again, welcome to the show. And any opening comments or anything that you wanted to share with the audience before we get into the
Hi.
questions?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining on a bright, beautiful Saturday morning. I am Saheli, as Anshumanji has already introduced me with a lot of kind words, but honestly, a couple of corrections there. Ambifem is the registered name of my company. Initially, I thought it's a great name, and it's still my registered company name. But I've actually changed the name of my media agency to Coffee Media because a client once like, Saheli Ambifem sounds like Ambipure. I was like, okay. Now changing. After that, I could never like call my agency Ambifem, but I guess I've not updated that anywhere. Probably should do that, but it's called Coffee Media now. And honestly, we have
True.
closed more clients after changing the name. So I do think that uh, that gave a lot of boost, like just changing the name to Coffee Media, and that was actually a client suggestion only. That how does coffee content sound? And I was like, yeah, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Coffee with a
Uh,
K.
uh, yeah. Now that you say, I was also wondering as I read that, what kind of a name is Ambifem, but maybe I don't know enough about the new
But
world.
I'm stuck with that name in my company details, my registered company details, which is not changeable. So I'll have to live with that. But anyway, that is something that only the
Oh, cool.
invoices
That's
and
fine.
taxation purposes. When I gave the name, I was like ambitious freelancer, entrepreneur, marketer, and ambitious female. दोनों साथ में हो जा रहा है. Ambifame. It made a lot of sense to me in my head back then. But it doesn't make sense anymore. But like, it's okay. We make mistakes. I have made
That's
a
okay. No, no, it is not a mistake, Sally. It is, you have grown, right? So
yeah. Back then, like to my childhood brain, it made a lot of sense. But yeah, hi, I'm Sahili. I'm a 24-year-old freelancer and entrepreneur. My skills include marketing and content creation. My biggest skill, though, is taking action and showing up, just like I've shown up on this Saturday morning after going to sleep at 4 a.m. last night and half an hour before on the backstage. The services I provide to clients include management, strategy, and consulting for usually edtech products, but also any service based businesses usually work with me. I don't work with product based businesses usually. And in the last 3 financial years, I have made close to 1.5 CR in net revenue as a freelancer. This does not include any other revenue stream of mine. And hopefully, if you're here today, I will be able to assist you with a few of your queries. If you want to get started as a freelancer, want to understand which skill is going to make you the most amount of money, how to get clients, I am all yours. Please shoot your questions at me. And thank you so much, Anshumanji. It was so nice to meet you at the LinkedIn event. And it's a pleasure to host a session with you for the first time over LinkedIn because I've never done it. I've actually been very casual with LinkedIn, and it has surprisingly rewarded me a lot. But it's my first time going live on LinkedIn, so hopefully it should be smooth. That now that I'm with a veteran.
no, no, no. Don't keep reminding that you are 24. I am veteran. So the but look, as I said, when we met in at that event, I did say that everybody in the social media space is 4 or 5 year old, whether one is 50, 75, or 20 or 25. We are all the product of the last few years, and
Hmm.
in that sense of we are all equal, and that's why a lot of guests on my shows these days are people who are younger and are cracking this code, which frankly many people like me have to learn a lot more about. But thank you for your generosity, Saili. We will quickly get deeper into the question. And while we do that, Aniket has a very interesting comment. Shakespeare said, "What's in a name?" A lot. Yes, Aniket is just showing off that he reads books, so we will let him hide now. And just a quick reminder to all audience: this is a show which is also one of the purpose of these kind of events is that you can discover people who could help you, right? So through this, you are discovering Saheli, and please follow her work. And if you are amongst the category, small category that are discovering me, you can follow me as well. I do fairly well. So quickly now, getting peeling the onion as I keep repeating on freelancing. I did in the opening of the session or show today say that about, it is estimated, and there are no firm numbers, but it is estimated that about 2 crore people are today freelancing in India. What, according to you, is freelancing? Because it is a very wide uh, subject, but what is it for you?
See, freelancing, the term freelancer too came from history. Okay, so basically there used to be these wars, and there used to be these soldiers kind of people who used to be they used to work for money. They used to fight for money basically, and basically that's where the term came from, freelancer. Okay, because lands. So
Hmm,
that's
hmm,
where the term comes from. And considering the virtual and definitely not so violent nature of our work, um, the most violent that we can get is like, oh my god, I hate your content. That's the
hmm.
worst form of violence in today's era. So considering that, freelancing today is like, I think, a piece of cake. For me, freelancing means being able to work on your own terms, like choosing the kind of clients you work for. You still have a boss, but you've chosen your boss. You
Hmm.
get to set boundaries. And also the biggest thing is that the flexibility. I think the way your personality can grow as a freelancer, usually in a corporate role, it's not that easy, because corporates are very strict with how they define
Yeah.
certain. And also, unlike startups, if you're only working with startups, that is, you will probably not be paid so well, so you will want to work with multiple people, right? So a lot of people, for them, having a job or having only a job does not make sense, in which case freelancing is the perfect solution. I feel everyone should be freelancing. It doesn't matter whether you're doing it part-time or full-time. It is not only a great way to increase your income, but also to know your own capabilities. I feel like when I started freelancing, it was definitely more that, oh my god, I'm making money doing this, that's crazy. But over the last few years, I have taken up projects which have not necessarily always paid the most money, but I have found them very challenging, and coincidentally eventually they also become the project that make the most money. But that ability that I can choose the projects based on my wish, my feelings, that is crazy. And that does happen to everyone at some point. I think after one income level, you don't really care about the money you make, but rather the challenges you're facing and what it's making of you in the process to uncover those. So for me, I guess freelancing is that journey to understanding my own potential.
I'm glad, Sally, you said it this way, because a lot of people sell this BS that you don't have a boss. Everybody has a boss. It's just
They
that you, in this case, you can choose your boss, or walk away from a situation, because you are actually offering your services to multiple people. So if one is not working out for employed people, because there is only one employee relationship you have, where do you walk away from unless you have another one which is working out? A
Mhm.
related question now that you've been able to define freelancing for us, and we have loads of questions anyway, so we might be here for 3-4 hours. We are taking, but I'll pick the main ones. But before we get there, so this is in the sense that freelancing as a full-time thing. But today, what is also popular, and I gave the statistic that about 30-40% people said that they are doing freelancing along with something else. So they are actually giving 20 to 30 hours a week and not more. Do you see that happen a lot in your work? Because you work with, like, trained more than
Thousands.
5,000, 6,000 people, thousands of people. Do you see that happen a lot in India also now, or is it just a early shoot?
Yeah, I think in 2020 or 2021, it was more common to have a job and freelance. These days, I feel
Hmm.
more people are taking up freelancing full time than ever. Okay, but alongside that, there's a lot of people who are also having their full time job or their studies, something else that they're pursuing alongside freelancing. So it's definitely a trend, and it's definitely doable. Freelancing means that you genuinely managed. If you're an expert freelancer, you will have enough time to manage on your own. It's actually quite rare for someone to have only a freelancing business. Usually, any freelancer will be doing multiple things. Like for example, I'm a freelancer, but I pursue my own content creation journey. I have multiple businesses. I do things which are not necessarily in any of these categories, and somehow I manage time for all of it. So of course, there's enough time that you have at hand. And you also want to also, if you want to be a good freelancer, you have to be very well rounded as a person. So that automatically means that you need to have more exposure. So honestly, having a job or pursuing studies is never a detrimental step for your freelance career. It's only going to accentuate the skills you already have. It gives you fresher perspectives, and that is very important, because otherwise, if somebody is pursuing social media marketing full time, the problem that I've
Hmm.
seen, they become very one dimensional. There's entire days just scrolling. So their brains become not so creative. But somebody who's doing multiple things usually actually has better inputs to add, better ideas, because they are relating multiple things. So yes, I would also recommend that no one should be only a freelancer. Pursue multiple things, but freelancing should be probably one of your major sources of income, like it is for me, like it is for most people I know.
Did I lose you?
Yeah.
No, no,
Hello.
no. We are back. We are back.
Yeah.
Uh,
So that's
one,
all.
no, no. I got that. I think one quick important thing, for my audience, because my audience is mostly people who are mid-career and employed, and I am trying to expand that subject domain by bringing people who are not from that category, because that's how people will learn new things and understand. So today's session, for example, is to help people understand what is freelancing after all, and is it for them, can they dabble into it. One quick advice to anybody who's employed and wants to dabble into freelancing: please make sure that you are not violating any terms of employment of your company, because you don't want to get into trouble, and tomorrow don't sue me that Anshuman and Saheli advised you to get into freelancing. So that we'll leave to you. But very well explained. I think I also see, I actually know quite a few people who are full-time employees, but are able to give 10 to 12 hours every week in terms of or sometimes lesser, sometimes more, in terms of some kind of freelance work, which is helping in them also build an additional skill set. Because
Hmm.
we all know that as we get older and have a longer career, we will probably need multiple revenue streams. Where will those revenues come from if we don't have skills? You can't use the same skill in multiple places. Very difficult. So cool. uh, I'm looking for some a good question that I saw, so let me quickly. Hmm. So I think an audience member, I can't see the name, but is asking Anshuman and Saheli. So the question is more for you, Saheli, not for me. My question is, how do you as a freelancer build good network of valuable contacts that will help you get projects through word of mouth, and which sources? So slightly advanced question, but since it has popped up now, let's take it and try and handle it quickly. Anything you can share with this person?
Absolutely. See, if you want to network, I've actually taken a proper session in my academy last couple of weeks ago. So I'll give you 10 points right now. Okay, I have the PPT open in front of me. So I'll tell you 10 ways to network very easily using LinkedIn. Okay. Number one, if you have relevant insights to share, tag or mention the person in your comments. Right? Let's say there's an industry leader who you know is somebody you want to network with. The best way to network with them is that whenever you see something relevant, just tag them that, hey, this person also spoke about this last week and I really liked it. Okay, that's a good starting point. It's just a starting point, of course, but it's a very good starting point. I got one of LinkedIn's top creators, LinkedIn and Twitter's top creators, Chase Demond. He's an email marketer, and I got him as a client by using this as a stepping stone, right? And it was a game changer for me and my agency when I got him as a client, because it's a big deal, right? He's already a LinkedIn top creator, already a top Twitter creator, international client. So, and also the kind of network that comes with a client like that is very valuable. So that's a very simple thing. A lot of people think that when अच्छा इतना simple tip है ये काम ही नहीं करता होगा, but actually it's doing the simple and boring things again and again and again and again that actually gets you the results. And that is what a lot of people don't understand. They see and they judge so quickly that they don't implement things on their own. But the day you start implementing, you will see that the answer has always been right in front of you. It's just that you have been too blind to look at it. So this is a very simple thing. Anyone can do this, right? You will like someone's content. Like for me, he was an email marketer. So if there was anything related to email, I would always tag him. Okay. Or if there's anything related to copy, I will probably tag John Harrison, right? Anyone who is a industry leader that will appreciate that tag. Okay. And it needs to be like, it don't tag normally, just say why it reminded you of them. Okay. Second thing that you can do is you can share your own content with them that you feel they might like. Okay. Personally, what I
Hmm.
have done is, I'll take Chase's example because there's a client I personally got using these strategies. I wrote a particular post on email marketing just because I wanted to get his attention. And I tagged him in the post also, that Chase is really good and stuff. And then I shared it with him also. So that got his attention, and he said thank you and all of those things. Okay. Then once that had happened, I took the next step. I directly sent a message saying that, hey, I really love your content. It has really helped me learn email marketing and stuff. So that is another thing that I did. I noticed that he was manually sending materials to people. Okay. So I offered him direct value. This is the first step. See what people are doing, and if you feel like they're doing something wrong, let's say you see my website and you feel like my website is shit, don't say it. My website designer will feel bad. But let's say there's an improvement you can suggest me, that is valuable for me. Okay. So you can offer value in any format, and value offer karna, a lot of people are like, okay, what is value, what is value? Value is nothing but finding gaps in someone's business. Okay. And any business has multiple gaps. Okay. Website pe ek link kaam nahi karta hai, social media content is not going out regularly, video editing is done poorly, call to action is not added. There's a lot of gaps that you can spot in anyone's business the moment you study businesses a little bit. Okay. You just have to spend maybe 2 3 weeks understanding the fundamentals of business, and you'll be able to spot 10 gaps in anyone's business. Okay. Gaps are nothing but places where people are losing money, and people lose money in very little ways. Okay. One link is not working, a chatbot is not added, after adding to cart maybe no pop-up is coming to the customer. So these little things, if you can spot and offer that as offer solutions to that, that is also very valuable for building connections. Fifth tip, and this is something that is so underrated, but I asked my LinkedIn cohort students to do this. And basically what you do is ask some mutual connections to introduce you to someone. I know it sounds fucking scary. Okay. Matlab, it's like me asking Anshuman ji ki aap apne friend se mujhe introduce kara dijiye. It sounds very scary to me even today. But get over that initial fear and just tell this person that you already know that, hey, this is what the service I offer is. Do you think there's any business owner that you can introduce me to, that I can have a conversation with? Not to sell or anything, just to talk. Okay. And 3 of my students out of 7 probably who implemented it, okay, got a client within a single day. Okay, got a client within a single day or a single call. Okay. They wouldn't have even known that an opportunity exists if they had not done this simple thing. Okay. And it sounds crazy that that opportunity was right in front of them, but they needed me to come and tell ke, "Arey, pooch lo," to get that. Okay. So think
Hmm.
about that can introduce you to someone, and everyone has such contacts. Okay. I hope that किसी का भी contact list ऐसा नहीं है कि सारे नल्ले बैठे हैं. Okay. That then you need to improve your contact list. Okay. Then you need to really work on yourself if your contact list is like that. But and even for me, right, I got a few clients because Ishan introduced me to them. I got to know amazing people because I attended the LinkedIn event, right? So a lot of things happen to you when you consciously put energy towards नेटवर्किंग राइट. सिक्स्थ टिप, ओके, बहुत सारे टिप्स है ये नेटवर्किंग वाले क्वेश्चन है बिकॉज मैंने ये प्रॉपर प्रिपेयर करा था. अटेंडिंग वेबिनार्स, ओके, अटेंडिंग स्ट्रीम्स जस्ट लाइक दिस. ओके, दिस इज अ ग्रेट पॉइंट for you if you feel that Anshuman ji can use your help with his business. Now that you have already heard him speak so many times, you can pitch much better than someone who has not, right? Also, if you're attending the session for me, let's say if there's a few things I'm talking about. For example, I'm always struggling to find really good people for lead gen. Okay, so let's say now you know this problem because you've attended my webinars. You get to know people much better if you attend their online events live, because live mein people can't prepare, so you get a
Hmm.
much better version of them. So automatically you'll be able to give better networking pitches to them. And apart from that, some simple ones would be just saying thank you, just appreciating their content, sharing their content. Okay, sharing relevant content with them. Those things also work pretty well. Okay, but these 6 7 things, if you can implement, there will be no dearth of good quality networking for you. It's not very hard to network with the top of the industry, because the more you uh, dabble your feet here, the more you will understand that these people are kind of lonely and they don't really have a lot of people to talk to also, because they're always struggling to find the right people. So if you can come in their lives with value, okay, most people come in their lives with what can you do for me, but it should be the
Yeah.
opposite. What can you do for them? And automatically you make like really crazy money. Like my best paying project till date, one single project paid me 100K USD. And that happened because when I went into the project, I didn't even ask for money. I told you I'll work for free. Okay. And it became like the best project of my life. So when you work with that kind of zeal, you never know where it will go. I honestly मुझे भी नहीं पता था इतना अच्छा हो जाएगा. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
actually
but um,
two things. Hopefully that answers the
I-
question, like details.
yeah, it answers a few more questions that were asked. So, but thanks for getting a little deeper into this, because sometimes people approach networking, and I keep telling people that, network with the sentiment of giving and not receiving. Once you are giving something, and yes, maybe 10 times you will give and only 4 or 5 people will respond, but then when you are going with a receiving approach, maybe zero will respond actually. So something like that. The one more question we will take, and then I will get into the next
Since you
category.
mentioned the
Hmm,
Since, since you
hmm,
mentioned that a few people will respond, I feel like a good freelancer doesn't have ego. If it is hitting your
hmm.
ego so much that 100 people may say 90 people, how dare they not reply to me? You really need to work on your ego. Read Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. Okay. Because that's a
Yeah.
crazy level of ego. Some people are like, only these people are, these many people are not replying to me. And why? What is that level of entitlement that you have? If it hits your ego, then you're dead even before your career starts. Like you should have zero ego if you want to grow online, especially online.
Actually, growing anywhere, if you are way too egoistic, and a little bit ego helps in building self confidence and all, but beyond that, it is all waste of time. Anand is a very popular career coach on YouTube and LinkedIn, but he's asking from a freelancing point of view. Uh, Anand, you are not a devil's advocate; you are the devil. So the question is,
I'm already
uh,
following him actually.
ah, okay, fantastic. What are the challenges people face with respect to making money? Of course, online and through freelancing. That's the context. So, what are the challenges you faced, or you can share with people, so that people don't think that this is easy and everybody can do it without any effort? Everything will need effort and time and patience. So, just to make it a little bit real, anything on that?
I feel I feel the biggest challenge that I see today, especially because there's so much exposure to the industry, is that people are too focused externally and not intrinsically. And that becomes a lot, that becomes the biggest problem of all. Okay. If you're constantly externally criticizing others and yourself, okay,
Hmm.
then how are you supposed to grow? Like I see a lot of people be like, okay, how is this even possible? I cannot believe that this is possible. I'm like, how can you not believe if you have not even tried? Okay. So people are too quick to judge externally without internally thinking that why am I thinking this way. And I think this is where I really lucked out, because when I was getting started there was not this much competition, nor there was this much comparison. So I really didn't have that much time to see ki who else is doing better than me and who else is achieving what. I just had myself to work on. And honestly, the market is much more cutthroat today than it was a few years back. So it's definitely gotten harder to reflect on yourself and not think about others. But once you start doing that, um, it just becomes easier. If the question is about what are the challenges people face, is that people think that others are their enemy or others are their biggest competition and the others are a threat to their career. But honestly, the biggest threat to your career is you yourself, and I would say your ego, and your ability to take criticism is also really really good. Like I have had some of my biggest breakthroughs because I went through my worst phases. And if I had not taken it in that manner, I don't think that I would be able to, like, if I had the kind of ego that I see in the people who are like, how dare people not reply to me, then I don't think I would have been able to do anything at all. I really have a very thick skin. It develops because I've been online for 8 years, so it develops. So yeah, not taking things personally is the biggest tip. Okay, but I think when I got started, so many people would just text me that I don't want to work with you, just text really nasty things if I pitch them. Also, they'll be like, why would you post that? Why would you ask people to hire you? I'm like, and back then I didn't care, but these days I have seen my students, if they have posted something and someone says that, why are you pitching yourself, they are like, somebody said this, so I won't do this. I'm like, what the fuck? This person is not going to pay your bills. The person who's criticizing you is not going to pay your bills. They're not even the person you aspire to be. I will take the criticism of someone I admire. I'll take the criticism of Anshumanji. I will take the criticism of maybe a mentor that I really admire. I won't even take criticism from my parents when it comes to marketing, because I know that this is not their field. Okay. So that is something that's very important. People are so externally easily influenced that they don't know what they internally want. And that becomes their biggest obstacle, and they quit even before they have reached a certain level.
Fantastic. This was an insight for me as well. And I can relate to this, Saheli, because like I said, this is 91st episode, and when I started, I had only a list of like 4 or 5 people I could reach out to. But then I went out and reached out to even people who are in the Global Thinkers 50 list. So Thinkers 50 list is the world's top list of 50 thinkers globally, as the name suggests. And getting to any of them is like you are you've arrived. I was able to get 3 people, 2 people directly on the show itself, and all because we were able to. I was able to reach out to them, and many did not reply. Some did. So that is true for
Absolutely.
anything you do in life. Hmm.
Yeah, you
Okay.
100% don't take a shot at, so go for it.
Yeah. So the now that we've elaborated or got a little detail into the why part, what are the various kinds? So most of the topics I dissect on this show are why, what, and how. So the why part is more or less covered. And now coming to the what part. So what kind of freelancing work actually does happen? You are of course in one type, but there might be others. Just to tell people who are in mid career, if they want to explore additional activity, what all can they do? And of course the short list, it can be exhaustive. So anything on that?
See, mid-career, I think consulting becomes the biggest service. Okay, no matter what they do, usually consulting it becomes the usual go-to service people provide because they have so much experience. Regarding freelancing, there's all types of skills. Anything that is a service-based skill, be it writing, marketing, developing a website, editing videos and stuff. But I'm assuming that mid-career professionals won't be
Hmm.
interested in that. So anything along those lines, can approach. Okay, writing, marketing are very popular these days because they are a little lower barrier to entry than the other ones, but there's also like many other fields. Okay, so I would say that there's hundreds of skills that you can serve as a freelancer. If you have doubts, you can just go and search your skill on Fiverr or Upwork and see whether there are people selling it or not, and if there are, there is demand for it for sure. Okay, so that's a quick way to do a little bit of market research. um Personally, I feel like there are five very high paying industries right now in 2024 which are only going to grow. First one is e-learning. E-learning has it had its shifts for sure post Baiju's front row incidents, but it's still an industry which is on the rise because people will always want to learn more, and the virtual nature of the business just makes things easier. But I would say learning is also being taken more offline lately. There are institutes that are setting themselves up in Bombay, Bangalore, and so learning as an industry is very good. So anyone who can enter the industry of learning, if they're interested in that, if they already work in a companies as such, freelancing for more such companies is a very good idea. Finance is also on the rise. Okay, post COVID, it has been a booming market. Same for physical and mental health. Okay, I would say physical mental health पे इतना focus तो इंडिया में तो कभी नहीं होता था पहले, but in the last 2 3 years so many companies have popped up and so many services have begun. I myself have used a few of them a few months back, and the way these businesses are operating are crazy, so they definitely invest in good quality freelancers to increase their revenue. Okay, if I just talk about mental health as an industry, a single therapy session average costs like 2000, 3000, and that's just average. Like if somebody wants to see someone even better, the charges are even more, and the startups that are selling such services or scaling such services, rather, they are making really, really good money. And there are a lot of apps that are also being built around this area. So if you can work for such companies, if that interests you in some way, that would be really, really great. Okay. And especially if you have a certification that just is chef's kiss. So mental and physical health has also like risen like crazy in the last few years, and this is also the beginning of the year. The physical health industry is booming more in this period, in the
Hmm.
summer period, pre-summer period, because people are in the summer body mindset. Then post festival, usually people are again in that mindset. So there are certain times when certain industries are very easy to get into. Software as a service, okay, because a lot of people are understanding that scalability becomes the problem in almost every business. So anyone who's into software as a service, you understand tech very well, SaaS businesses and AI based startups. Okay, AI is the buzzword of the season. So any AI based startup is also usually they find it easier to raise funding, which automatically means they have more money to pay freelancers. I would say the best thing that you can do for yourself is not just choose a good skill, but also choose a great industry where there's money flowing in. Because a lot of people are like, clients are not paying me, clients are not paying me. Who are you targeting? Bakers. So that's not the kind of clientele that is going to be able to pay you a lot. So from the get go, try to target industries where profit margin is high, money is flowing, and the season tells you that at least for the next 5 years, this industry is going to be all right. So yeah,
Great.
those are some advices.
Yeah, one quick this thing you mentioned, Fiverr and Upwork. Of course, I know about them, but I suspect might many people might not know. So a little bit about these two platforms.
So Fiverr and Upwork are freelancing platforms. I personally don't recommend them though, because they are good for research and they are good for getting a little bit of exposure. But then for using them long term, it becomes a problem because they take a 20% income cut. And if you're in India, you already pay very high taxes. If you're over the 20 lakh bracket, then you pay even more. So it doesn't make any sense. Like for me, it was not making any sense to use a platform where I will lose 30-40% of the money I'll make. Okay, that becomes a huge ton of money if you're making lakhs. So doesn't make any sense. It's better to have your own personal brand and get clients on your own using social media or cold pitching. So that's why I don't recommend Fiverr and Upwork. Fiverr and Upwork are much more popular in countries like Pakistan, where tax is not a thing for freelancers, which is beautiful. But it is beautiful. Like you, as a freelancer, no matter how much money they make, they don't have to pay any taxes, zero taxes for freelancers. So my Pakistani counterparts are like richer than me, make uh, even if they make the same amount of money or even a little lesser. So yeah, but honestly, like I'm proud to be an Indian, so
Yeah,
that's all
but
right.
I,
Sometimes the kind of videos that recommend Fiverr and Upwork, they're usually by Pakistani creators. So that's why it
hmm.
creates a little bit of conflict of interest. Because one time a Pakistani creator actually was very upset that I said not to use Fiverr and Upwork, but I was like, dude, please understand the difference in our countries and the taxation. So the decision is based more logically than emotionally.
Yeah, and but like you said, it is probably a good place to start,
Hmm.
learn, do some research, maybe a few months if you're a student, if you are very young into this space. But once you start making some decent money, you should move to and parallelly build your personal brand so that the brand then attracts the work rather than through these platforms. So well said. Related question to the stuff we just discussed. I think Anuya Shekhar Nanduri is asking, what do you think is the growth niche to step into freelancing journey? What are the skills needed? Skills needed to get into freelancing looks like. If you start your journey all the way from today, which was one of the questions I wanted to ask you. So, if you started your journey, it's been 8 years, 7, 8 years. What's that one thing you would do to get your first high-paying client? So
Okay,
specific,
am I
है, but
audible by
try.
now?
Yeah, all good.
Okay. Yeah. What do I think is the growing niche to step into? I think I mentioned all the five already. Okay.
Yeah.
Finance, learning, mental, physical health, SaaS, AI based startups. I think those are fast growing, but there's so many more. Okay. So it's in a non exhaustive list. There's hundreds of industries out there. Uh, there are boring industries also, like real estate and stuff. And they also have like a really crazy money, but मैं उतना boring काम नहीं करना चाहती हूँ, इसीलिए मैंने freelancing करा है, तो मेरे को नहीं करना. But if you want to do it, by all means, the real estate reels and social media managers are making the most amount of money these days, I feel. um, what are the skills needed? All the skills again that I mentioned: writing, marketing based skills, websites, whatever you feel you can serve. You can actually build your own skill tree. Okay, you can Google the term skill tree and you'll understand what I mean. But basically, what kind of skills you have, soft skills, hard skills, and you can arrive at your own decision. And if I personally had to start my own journey today, I would probably start with marketing itself because that's more my vibe. Okay. I just really enjoy marketing. It's my favorite thing to do, and I enjoy doing it for free. Also, I will do this. So that, what would I do to get my first high-paying client? I would optimize my LinkedIn. You would be surprised how good LinkedIn works if you know how to optimize your LinkedIn properly. Um, I have had students who went through modules by skipping them. So we initially asked people to make a portfolio and then optimize profiles, but there are students who are like, I'm smarter than you, so what would you teach me? So they optimize their profile first. They got leads, they got inbound leads, as in people asking them that, do you do this? And then of course they have to send the portfolio, but the portfolio is not ready. So it became a problem for them. But that's the beauty of it. They have people ready to pay them. They just have to show how they can add value. So optimizing LinkedIn works really, really well if you want to get your first high paying client. But beyond that, I would say I would send pitches to my ideal clients. I think outreach has given me better clients than inbound leads for sure, because I have chosen the kind of people I will reach out to, right? So I would probably pitch the people I really, really admire and tell them that I don't want to get paid. I just want to work with you. That would definitely take it for granted that I'm living with my parents, which I was back then, because you have to take care of the bills otherwise. I don't think I can do that now because I live independently. Um, but yeah, if you don't have your basic expenses under jeopardy, you can also do this. Just work for someone you really, really admire, someone who you would be proud to say that I work for this person. And that kind of brings you the growth that nothing else can. So that's what I will do.
Sure. Thanks, Harry. There were three, four questions. One from Nandini, couple of them I saw. So my request to them is that you were asking about how to pitch to a client. Sahili did cover that part early in the show. So when you get a chance, do watch it from the beginning. You will get an idea. And that reminds me, uh, before we try and close, and you have talked about this academy that you have, where you're teaching people freelancing, or people are coming to get trained and all. Tell us a little bit more about that, because that way many people who have these questions, and we can't obviously cover every question, they might be able to get those answers on your academy and on your channel. So a little bit about that, and then we'll try and take one more question and close off.
Okay. Yeah. For the last 3 years, I've been running an academy for freelancers. It's called the Freelance 101 Academy. And anyone who's interested in it can definitely message me and get the details on it. I wouldn't want to pitch anything here. But yeah, anyone who wants to
No, no,
learn
you
more about.
can. No,
No,
no problem, you can.
I genuinely don't do that. I genuinely just don't enjoy doing that. So I don't do that. But anyone who feels and they feel like I can be the right fit for them and teaching them how to get clients as a freelancer, get your first high paying client or first few high paying clients, scale your business as a freelancer. I do run an academy with some of the top mentors
Hmm.
who are themselves making lakhs. And yeah, that's what I do. You will really, really enjoy it. I can guarantee that. I personally take sessions on Fridays, and there are other people who also keep taking sessions across various skill sets. So if anyone feels called to that and is ready for the help, so please do contact me. I would be happy to text you back on LinkedIn itself. But yeah, that's what I do, and this is something that I genuinely enjoy doing. And the kind of experiences I've had, like a student of mine got a job at Zomato recently, and that was like, okay, crazy. This is the kind of company I would like to work for. Some students work at HubSpot, Razorpay. I'm like, these are my dream companies. These would have been my dream companies if I was getting started, for sure. So I think the kind of impact that it has been able to create feels very crazy, and hopefully it just keeps growing. The best part is that we have grown to almost uh, 8,000 students in the last 3 years without any advertising, any ad spend, nothing. It's totally organic.
Fantastic. So there you go. Quite a few questions were around, essentially basics, some of which Sahili was able to cover. But in a short talk like this, it's very difficult to get into all this detail. But do check out Sahili's YouTube channel as well. And there, if you want some stuff free and or the basic stuff, right? So getting started kind of thing. You don't need to always pay for everything, but you can get that as well. Sorry, you were saying something, Sahil?
Yeah, yeah. On my YouTube channel, you can get like really, really good videos, and you can get your first few clients from them only, probably.
I did my research, so I actually checked some of the videos. That's why.
Thank you.
uh, okay, yeah, we'll take one or two more questions. Interesting one. Two, three questions are around LinkedIn optimizing. So this is not the show, I guess, for LinkedIn optimization. Do check some people or some YouTube channels where they can teach you, but or reach out to us separately and we can help you, but not today. Ajit Prabhu is asking about, do we need experience to attain high paying clients? My guess is yes, but we'll ask the expert. Just in case, if an person has skills and expertise in specific engineering tasks without experience, how do we highlight? Oh, so this is a slightly specific question about engineering, but let's keep the specificity of the question. If somebody doesn't have experience in freelancing, how should they go about uh, trying to get clients?
So if you don't have any experience, as in, I believe you're saying that you've not worked for a proper client yet, and you want to get a high
Correct.
paying client. In that case, the best way to do that would be showcasing your work. Even if you have not done it for a client, it's still your work. A graphic design, which is like really, really good. It doesn't matter who it's delivered to, it's still good, right? So it doesn't matter that you've not been paid before. So in that case, the work becomes the biggest piece of experience that you have. And of course, your first portfolio won't look the best, and that is normal. If you're just a beginner, your focus should definitely be to get a high paying client in the long term, but your first focus to be to get a client. Okay. बहुत पैसा आने से अच्छा है कि पैसा तो आ जाए. So the moment you get your first client, you will get a different level of confidence. And with that first client uh, that you work for, you get a lot of exposure also. You get a lot of understanding also. Like even for yourself, like I'm glad that my first few projects were not very high paying, because it really made me understand that this is not what I truly enjoy. Because when it was writing, I didn't care. Even if I was getting paid really well, I wouldn't care. But when it came to marketing, even when I was barely getting paid, I was very happy to do the work. So don't focus too much on the money, I would say. I know money sounds very appealing. Even we do use them as our hooks, because we know that that appeals to the audience. But if you really want to be very successful as a freelancer, keep introspecting what is internally making you the happiest, and you will see that surprisingly you'll get your highest paying clients that way only.
Yeah, I guess it is true for everything, Sally, that in trying to go for the best paying, best client, we sometimes miss good enough pay and good enough clients. So what you're saying is that start with what you have, what you can get, instead of only keeping your eye on the best price, because the road to that best price is through this hell, or heaven, as you may want to
Yes, it's
title
definitely
it.
like hell, but it's I don't know what people expect these days. It's just work. It's normal work.
I'll
It's
tell you
just
what
like
people expect. Saheli is sorry, but Saheli is 24. She's making millions. I am 26. I also want to make millions. So, but that is not how it works. I will remind everybody, those who are probably joining late, she has been at this for 8 years already,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, obviously, the first client or first thing that she sold was not at the best. So please see the journey as well for everybody, and I try and bring that uh, aspect for everybody. I told you Ishan was there on the show. He's 22, but he's been at it for 5 6 years as well. So what we see today is the output or the product, and not the process. Hopefully we were able to share some of your process today.
Thank you.
Sorry, you
Yeah,
were saying
absolutely.
something there. Yeah.
No, 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 not at all. I was saying that absolutely correct. I think a lot of people just forget the fact that we have been doing it for so long. We're not the same age if you talk experientially. And if a lot of people are like, oh, how is this possible? Like, is she really good or what? Actually, I'm extremely mediocre. Like, if after 8 years also I'm not making this kind of money, I would say कि मतलब कुछ चुल्लू में पानी में डूब मरना चाहिए. Because after 8 years also, if you're not able to crack it, Okay, then what worth do you have in life? Like, I would judge myself severely in that case, right? Most people these days, they hit their
Agreed.
first lakh in a very small period of time compared to how long it took us years. So, so definitely, but you see today, you don't see that period. So of course that is normal, that comparison comes to play, but we've all been there. And I think it's easier than ever to accomplish that because of the exposure and everything. Back then, families also, you didn't used to be very supportive of all this. I don't know. I don't. What about you? If like 8 years ago, your son would have come to you that, Papa, I'm gonna become a freelancer, would he have gotten a meal?
one one chamat one chamat and but maybe today, yes, actually he's doing a little bit, so he's doing architecture, like many of my audience knows, but he's in fourth year, but he's trying to dabble into multiple areas within architecture, doing some freelancing, doing some internships, sometimes without pay. I actually spend for his internships because he has to stay somewhere and all, but I see that as an investment tomorrow that will give him a better exposure. But yes, maybe 8 years ago, no, but today, yes, definitely.
Absolutely. So there
And
was a lot of barrier to do all this 8 years ago because even my family was the same. So we didn't have any family support or anything back then. So if anything, there's a lot of struggles that we went through many years ago, which this generation will never even get to know, because honestly, like, the exposure has been better. And I feel like it's because of people like us who have like constantly spoken about it. I think
yeah,
I take so much pride when someone says that, Sahili, anyone who is in the field of freelancing knows you. And that's like crazy. That's like a massive industry to know someone. Like, I go to a co-working space, usually people recognize me, and that's like I take a lot of pride in doing that. But then I
you
also remember
should.
that it never happened overnight. So same message for all of you: start doing things today. You would never know where that will lead a few years later. So have a long term vision, don't think short term, don't quit if you don't see results immediately, but keep intentionally analyzing things. You will definitely get to whatever goals you have set for yourself, small, mid, max. Okay. And hopefully this session has been able to help you. And thank you so much, Anshumanji, for doing this and inviting me. It was such a pleasure answering all these questions. Your audience is amazing, and I'm looking forward to doing this sometime again.
Sure, we will do that. And before we end, there's one quick, four people have asked about the recording. Maybe they were not able to join in the beginning or want to watch this later. So, my reminder to everybody, the link that you used to come to this show on LinkedIn is the same recording. So, you can use it as many times, it will stay on LinkedIn. And just as a reminder, I will post a shorter version of this in a couple of weeks on my YouTube channel, and we'll share it with Saheli so that it is available on her channel as well. And our purpose is that more and more people should know about this. And if then you need some specific help or some focused, support, then of course you can reach out to Saheli, as she has already mentioned. So with that, I will disappoint a few people who have still had more questions, but we are trying to keep it crisp and a little more informative so that you can then, if you are interested, go and find out more. With that, Sally, thank you very much, and thank you to my audience as well. And as you said, we will call you back when you get to your $10 million or $20 million goal very soon.
Hopefully, not soon, but
Uh,
someday, hopefully.
ठीक है, but I am in that category who can also give some ashirwad as well, so I will give that to you as well. Okay, okay, cool. Thanks a
Thank you
lot.
so much.
Bye bye everyone. Thank
Have a
you.
lovely day,
Bye.
all of you. Goodbye.
Bye bye.